Blog Talk Radio.
Franchise interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews. Welcome to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 10 years we've been asking the Franchpreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. Well, today is day 2 of our 12 days of franchising, where each day from December 12th to December 24th, we'll ask Santa for a particular franchise. And on the second day of Christmas, we ask Santa for a cousin's franchise opportunity. But you have to listen to the interview to find out why. We'll be right back with more Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Teacher.
Would you like to know how to franchise your concept or grow your franchise business?
Meet the experts at Franchise Teacher.
The goal of Franchise Teacher is to teach, coach, consult, and advise. The team of experts at Franchise Teacher will evaluate your business model and present you with a winning business strategy.
Franchise Teacher will help you decide whether or not your concept works and if it's franchisable. Franchise Teacher is proud to have over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors.
Franchise Teacher are developers of over a dozen franchise systems, which include brick and mortar as well as home-based concepts of nearly 3,000 combined franchise locations.
Whether you need to add more units or get more customers, Franchise Teacher can help. We will teach.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn our proven system.
Coach.
Franchise Teacher will help you provide a game plan to succeed.
Consult.
Franchise Teacher will make sure you stay on track.
And advise.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn from our over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors. Take advantage of our free, no-obligation phone consultation. Simply go to franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
That's franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
The Stone Coat Franchise Opportunity. Are you looking for a unique and lucrative franchise opportunity? If so, take a look at Stone Coat. With a patented process which creates a true stone finish on almost any wall or ceiling, Stone Coat is a true game-changing product in the multi-billion-dollar construction industry. Stone Coat is applied faster, cleaner, and cheaper than conventional quarried stone, which saves both time and money. With advantages in remodel and new construction of both residential and commercial projects, Stone Coat is a true crossover product. The Stone Coat franchise opportunity provides a low startup cost, low operating expenses, comprehensive training, ongoing support, and no royalty payments. For more information on the Stone Coat franchise opportunity, go to www.stonecoatfranchise.com. That's www.stonecoatfranchise.com or call us at 972-380-2700. That's 972-380-2700.
Hi, this is Connie McDermott, Administrative Assistant for Franchise Interviews, LLC, and you're listening to Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 10 years we've been asking the Franchpreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. Well, today is day 2 of our 12 days of franchising. Each day from December 12th to December 24th, we'll ask Santa for a particular franchise. And on the second day of Christmas, we ask Santa for the Cousins franchise opportunity. And we're going to go right into our interview with Christine Specht of Cousins. Hi, everyone. Happy holidays and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the Franchpreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. And if you've ever dreamed about owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. Well, we have a great show this morning, Don. Whether it's a hoagie, a hero, a grinder, a spucky, a poor boy, or a wedge, the sub sandwich has proved to be a mainstay in the diets of countless Midwesterners. And I know you and I are both big fans of subs as well. This familiarity is due to a large part of Bill Specht and Jim Sheppard's brainchild, Cousin Subs, which you and I are both big fans of, which opened its first location in Milwaukee's 60th Street in 1972. After nearly 40 years, the brand has grown to approximately 150 locations in 9 states and continues to offer its customers the freshest breads, meats, and toppings. Hey, Christine, happy holidays. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks very much. Happy holidays. Glad to be here.
Thanks, Christine. Thank you. Christine, joining us is my co-host, Don Johnson, and I know, Don, you wanted to wish Christine happy holidays and good morning.
Yeah, Christine, we both appreciate you coming on the show. Happy holidays. You got some plans for the holiday season?
I do, but I'll be sticking around here in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, relaxing with family, friends. Nothing too outrageous. Looking forward to just relaxing.
Good, that sounds great.
Yeah. Christine, you know you have a long history with Cousin Subs. I was going to say, what were you doing before coming back, I guess you could say, to Cousin Subs?
Sure. Well, I started here professionally in 2001 in human resources. Mm-hmm. Before that, though, I was off doing my own thing. I went to college. I have a bachelor's in criminology and law studies. I have a master's in public administration. I did a year of volunteer work with homeless families in Florida, which was a great experience, and also worked for the state of Wisconsin for a period of time before then coming to Cousins in their HR department. So it's not necessarily a traditional return to the family business. I really thought of doing my own thing.
That's something. And you started working, was it part-time with Cousins, I guess, when you were like a teenager, right, Christine?
Oh, sure. It was my first job. I could not wait to earn my first paycheck and be somewhat independent. I was 15, and I was, my parents let me work in one of the restaurants that was near our home, and it was such a great experience. I loved it. And I even say now that even though I'm not working in the restaurants, that those were some of the best times because it was just so fun to work with, just to be hands-on, work with food, and work with our employees and the guests.
That's fantastic. I mean, what is it like for you to watch the growth of Cousin Subs? You know, I mean, because you were there from the beginning, I guess you could say. You know, it must be amazing to see what it's actually turned into.
Right, absolutely. It is amazing. Cousins is all I know because it started 2 years before I was born.
Right.
And it's just always been part of my family's life. And it's exciting to see it grow, but yet still holding true to the things that are important and that still are important to my father and myself, and you know, as far as the product, what we serve in the product, and it's very similar to what we serve today. The menu is bigger, of course, but then to what my father started, you know, over 35 years ago. So it's been exciting.
That's fantastic.
And with that much time in business, like any company is going to go through some rough times, rough patches. I'm sure you've seen all of that, which is even more special now that there's you have that success, and now when a new franchisee comes in, they won't have to go through all that. Something Marty and I talk about on the show a lot. A big part of investing in a franchise. You guys probably went through everything that can happen in the food business, and now that new franchisee will benefit from I guess those tough times, right, Christine?
Oh, absolutely. That is one of the beauties of buying into a franchise concept is that you know that they've already been through it, so they are, or should be, at least we feel we are, certainly skilled at handling problems that will come up. Certainly as a franchisee, owning your own business is going to be problems or challenges, but you're not alone, and that is one of the greatest things about being able to franchise is that you have that support system. But not all franchise systems are the same, so you have to be very careful about your expectations of support. But it is true, though. Why reinvent the wheel if you're able to have success by piggybacking off of somebody else and growing, but yet still being your independent business owner?
And how did the concept of franchising start? Is it something your father thought of early on, or did someone approach your company and think that might be a good way to go? How did that all come about?
Well, not really. When they started, my dad and his cousin, he's passed now, the late Jim Sheppard, when they started the business in 1972, they were really just looking to accomplish two things. They wanted to bring to Milwaukee this East Coast style sandwich that I'm sure you're very familiar with, and to have those flavors here in Milwaukee, which they felt didn't exist at the time, and then really to support their families. So when they started the sub shop, it was with one restaurant. They thought maybe one, maybe two. We want to support our families. But then the concept caught on and the popularity for it increased, so they decided to open more restaurants. And then in the 1990s, there was an individual who was an employee for McDonald's, and he met up with my dad, and they kind of talked about that franchising opportunity, and then they decided to go for it. It's been a great success for this particular franchisee and for many others. So there wasn't necessarily a set plan of here's what we're going to do, but just through meeting people and developing the product and growing the company, it's worked out that way.
How do you describe, Christine, Cousin Sub's franchise system to a potential investor?
Well, we certainly describe it as something that's, we firmly believe that it's a high-quality product. We have awesome people that are here to support you. We like the fact that, you keep a relatively low inventory. You don't have to be, it's flexible as far as where you want to put your unit. Sometimes we have freestanding, sometimes they're, very ideally in a strip center, and then even possibly with a drive-through. It's a nice concept that has, that's a cash business, but that offers, future growth opportunities. And then certainly you have the ability to grow into multi-unit, to be a multi-unit owner. It doesn't have to stop just with one restaurant.
Right. That's putting a lot of pressure on yourself, saying that you're awesome and that your whole staff is awesome.
I know. But I absolutely can say with confidence, the people ask me all the time, what really sets Cousins apart? And, it's always the same. People will often say the same thing, but it's just so true. We have our product, which we believe in 100%. It's high-quality meats and cheeses, awesome bread, baked twice a day in our restaurants. But it's our people. The people here at our corporate office, the support system for the franchisees, for the corporate stores. Some have been here for over 30 years, and we have some people that are brand new. But the experience, the loyalty, this culture that we've worked really hard to create is one of support and service to the system, and it's intentional and it's sincere. And I think that comparative to other concepts and feedback that we receive, that's how I know that I can say that with confidence, to say that we have awesome people.
Yeah, we hear that a lot, Marty, don't we? That
so
franchisees, when they're happy, a lot of it goes back to the people at the home office at corporate.
Yeah,
and it is just so true. Look, we aren't perfect. Every system has, could have issues. Everybody's dealing with the economy these days, but it's how you work through these processes, how you work through the challenges, that get you to be stronger for the next time that next challenge comes along. And we firmly believe we need our franchisees to be successful. So what can we do to help them and work with them and train them? Because if we're not supporting them, they're not going to be as successful as they could be, which means we're not going to be as successful as we could be. It's definitely a relationship.
Absolutely. It sounds like you probably want to spend the rest of your career, too, I imagine, Christine, with Cousins, too. I've read some interviews with you in the past, and I suspect you're probably going to be with them a long time. You're still pretty young.
I plan on it.
Yeah.
I certainly plan on it, which is exciting. The company's over 35 years old, like I said, started by my dad and his cousin, and we have now with me coming on board as the president and chief operating officer, at the end of March, I'm 34, so it's great because I feel like I've got a long, a lot of time ahead of me to really grow the concept. And
Right.
you know, when I was younger, I wasn't planning on it, but I couldn't imagine being anywhere else now. It's so exciting, and our employees are so excited to see about where the future of the company can go, and it's, you know, through franchising, and it's through just developing and continuing to, you know, keep our great product.
That's great. One of the questions we've been asking on our show now, Christine, is what role has technology played in your business? I'm sure it's a lot different from when your dad, you know, started the company with his cousin, you know. Did you want to talk about that?
Sure. Technology is just constant. It's amazing and almost overwhelming sometimes how quickly it changes. But it has played a big role with us being very smart about how we operate our business. Certainly back in the day, you know, they didn't have that ability probably to be quite as efficient. But with us, we're able to gather more information than ever before. We're able to analyze what our best-selling products are versus what products don't top the charts. You know, and that's critical when you're making menu management decisions.
Right.
And then we're able to run just very efficient restaurants in terms of labor and cost of goods. Even a half a point here or there can make the difference. You know, depending on your sales month. So when the business first started, the tools like that weren't necessarily available, and now it's a matter of just, you know, parsing through which are the right tools for us and how can we best apply them. But technology is huge, and, you know, we make subs, and it's a somewhat simple business, but you have to incorporate technology in order to keep up with the times and with the demands and the need for data to make smart decisions.
That's fantastic. It must be interesting for your father, too, I imagine, Christine, to see all this technology today and how it works. And said, God, we didn't have that, you know, 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's just overwhelming, and our IT department continues to come with us with these new technology options, and it's just like you're almost flabbergasted because you can just get so much more information. And then what is great is because you can take you have to make those business decisions, and they have to be rational. And so especially when you're looking at menu management, you can say, well, we want, you know, this product, this is why we're doing this particular thing with this product because it's our best seller or because it's not a good seller. You know, so I mean, you really come to make smart decisions based on the facts, which is you know, I just think terrific.
That's fantastic. This is a pretty big industry, isn't it, Christine? Are there any numbers as far as like how big your industry actually is?
Oh yeah, the NRA, the National Restaurant Association, provides a lot of details. It is a huge industry, and I love it. We employ 13.1 million people across the United States. It's 9% of the U.S. workforce, which is huge, and they're expecting to add another 2 million jobs over the next decade, you know, to 15.1 million. Every single day, our typical day's sales are $1.5 billion in the restaurant industry. So we expect to cap out at $558 billion for 2008. That's tremendous. That just speaks volumes, I think, because we're a major force in the economy. We supply jobs. We meet people's needs at their very core level, and we're something that, frankly, will be able to stay through even weather these economic times, because at the very basic principles, people still need to eat, and they're going to have selections and options out there. It's terrific.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that as far as how the economy affecting your business. And I guess all businesses are affected somehow, but I would tend to think it's a pretty inexpensive purchase. People have to eat. I think it wouldn't have a big impact on Cousins. The way this
right. We have certainly been able to weather the economy much better, and partly because we're just fortunate to be in the segment of the restaurant industry where it is quick service. You know, you have a good product for at a great value. So you're able to offer that product, and it's quick, so it meets individuals' needs. But right, you know, everybody's affected, and for us, we're looking at 2009. We're being very conservative, very very smart about it. I think the economy is going to pick back up again. It has to. Right. The ingenuity and innovation of America, I think, is being very strong, and we're just in these unusual times. But what we need to do is just be very smart about, you know, how we staff, how we grow, how we spend, and certainly how we market. We need to stay relevant out there so that our guests continue to come through our doors.
Just go back to technology for a second. Being in a cash business, I imagine, you know, things like avoiding employee theft, security. I imagine that has helped, you know, your stores as well.
Oh, absolutely. It is, it is tempting when it's a cash business because there's sometimes always that temptation to not put that money into the register. But with the technology that we have with our point of sale systems, you're able to really monitor that much more closely. And hopefully my goal is to always actually have a great environment, a great culture within each store so that the individuals don't feel the need and they recognize it wouldn't be right to steal, but occasionally it does happen. And it's about our ability and our franchisees' ability to be able to monitor that because you cannot be at your register 24/7. You can't always be next to every single employee. So, while you want to trust your employees, you always have to verify and you always have to make sure that your business is healthy from that perspective. So certainly technology plays a role. We're seeing an increase in things like security cameras that we haven't in the past and not necessarily in only high crime areas. People have security cameras in the stores. It's web-based, so if the franchisee is not necessarily active in the business every day, they can log on, look at their, look at what's happening in their store, watch their employees, respond to things, and just kind of have a presence without being there.
It's just so important, yeah. I think I know the answer to this next question, Christine. What's the most interesting thing that's happened to you while at Cousin Subs?
Well, for me personally, it's been my personal career transition here, which started in HR, and I actually expected to stay in HR, and then had different opportunity come up, which I'm absolutely loving. But globally, looking at Cousins as a whole is really what I was talking about before with our franchisee, our first franchisee, and watching him grow in the system. He now has 6 units. But that's not even the interesting part. What I find to be interesting is that he developed 3 of his own individuals to then be franchisees in our system. And that's pretty cool. I think that's a testimony to him and his commitment to developing his people, but then also a testimony to the system that he wants other people to buy in and believe in the system. So it's been interesting to watch people develop through the years. Whether they're our employees or franchisees, it's pretty exciting.
It'd be nice to have that franchisee on the show maybe next year, Marty,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it would be great.
Sure.
He's gone through the whole process and history like that.
Yeah, he's right, and he started with he was our first franchisee, and he continues to be in the system. So it's just really great when you can help other people be successful.
What types of characteristics? I'm sure that franchisee you're just talking about has them, but what do you look for in a franchisee? What are the top characteristics you feel?
Sure. The characteristics, right off the top of my head, I would say they have to have a sense of urgency and a willingness to work very hard. In my opinion, there's no such thing as a quick and easy buck. And this business is a hard business, but it can be a wonderful business. But the individual has to be the right fit. They have to love food, and they have to love serving people. If they are truly going to be owner-operators, they're in their restaurants. They have to think about and place themselves, okay, can I be in a restaurant? Do I want to be on my feet all day? Do I want to work with our younger generation all the way up to maybe retirees? Do I want to work around people? Do I want to serve people? Those are things that it's very important for me as we move forward that we think about and we ask those questions because it's not for everybody. It's a great business, but it's not for everybody. And certainly they have to have the financial stability. That's a given, but it's so much more than the money. That's why I like to talk about kind of those intangibles before we even talk about the money.
It's interesting, and I like what you did with Discovery Day too, Christine. I think with the typical Discovery Day, a lot of prospective franchisees, they watch presentation after presentation, and you guys don't do that. Did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. We try to break our Discovery Days up and keep them interesting because it's a lot of information that are given to people, but we feel it's in their best interest because we truly want them to discover Cousins. So what we do is we certainly have our different departments present, what they do and how they can support the franchisees as they go through the process. But then we also take them on a real estate tour and show them different restaurants and give them a different perspective of, okay, all right, you're thinking of a freestanding, here's one, here's a strip center, here's one with a drive-through, because we do have the flexibility to have to be in different locations. There's not just one set footprint. So by taking them out and letting them actually see the operation, see the building, meet franchisees, that really enables them to get a better picture of what Cousin Subs is all about, not only not only just hearing it from our corporate individuals here through a presentation. And then we serve them lunch. We have a test kitchen here in our corporate office. So we'll have our training people serve up sandwiches, so they're fresh made. They see exactly what they're going to be serving in the restaurants, and they get a real hands-on feel for that.
That's fantastic. And what's the training like for the new franchisees, Christine?
The training for our new Cousins franchisees is very comprehensive and totally hands-on. We have they will experience classroom training and then in-store training, and then after when they're complete with both of those segments, they take an assessment, and they need to pass that assessment and be certified to operate a restaurant before they're able to be franchisees. And it's very important to us because we need them. Yes, they're business owners, but we need them to be the right representation with the right execution for the brand, because they are now ambassadors of our brand and they're executing our brand. So they're supported throughout the entire process. We have a terrific training department, and there's constant follow-up, and it's just the critical part. And it's always interesting to me when we occasionally will have somebody come in and not necessarily place such importance on that training aspect, but boy, are they happy when they go through the process, because after they open their doors, they need to be ready to go. And then, of course, we do offer ongoing training and support even after the doors are open.
That's great. It's so important. And what are your plans for the Cousins Subs plans for the future, Christine? I mean, how big or how much would you guys like to grow over the next several years?
Right. Over the next several years, we'd like to add, I'd like to have 70 more units in operation by the end of 2010. We'll have about 14 stores open by the end of this year. We have 7 more coming out, opening up within the first 2 months of next year, so we're very excited about that. So I think we're well on our way to working and meeting that 70 stores by the end of 2010. Beyond that, I haven't set any growth goal numbers, but I think it's wide open. When I personally visited every single Cousins Subs restaurant when I became the president. So within a 5-month period, my coworker and I went and visited each restaurant, all franchisees, and it was a tremendous experience because I was able to be in their environment, get to know them, understand their needs, and just really able to see where they're coming from. But beyond that, I just saw tremendous opportunity for growth in the states in which we're currently located, where that's why it's like the sky's the limit. We just have to work on some systems, some processes, meet the 70-store goal. But then beyond that, I think that the growth is really just tons of potential.
Sounds like you're the right person for the job there, Christine.
Well, I hope so. My father still comes into work on a regular basis. We have a great relationship, and he is my boss, so I am accountable just like anybody else here. But it's great.
Family business. Yeah.
That's great. Christine, what's the best way for our listeners to get more information on becoming a Cousins Subs franchisee?
They can absolutely go to our website, www.cousinsubs.com. That's our website. There's a link right there for franchising, and we are ready and waiting for your call. We'll be happy to work with you through the franchising process.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Christine. I want to wish you a happy holiday, and I know, Don, you wish Christine a happy holiday.
Yeah, happy holidays, Christine.
Thanks, Marty. Thanks, Don. Appreciate it.
Take care, Christine.
Thanks very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Great show, huh, Don?
Yeah, wow. I mean, just a good show. Good family business history, a lot of room for growth. Perfect person to take them to the next level.
No, I totally agree with that. And it was interesting for her to get to actually meet all the franchisees. For Cousins Subs. It's just
right.
That must have been a great feeling for the.
It's a great idea. It's a big family.
President. So. Absolutely. So they're a great franchise. I'd love to have them back in 2009. As you said, and
right.
have